on the Civic Media app, and again, also a video stream if you go to the Bull Falls Radio Facebook page or the Bull Falls Radio X page. Again, some light rain out there, temperature of 44 degrees at our downtown studios at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street in downtown Wausau. And saw quite a bit of rain once it's rolled in last evening and throughout the overnight. And as we were talking about in the last segment, a lot of wind as well. But how long will this rain stay with us as we get closer to the weekend? What can we expect weather-wise as well for the end of the work weekend into Saturday and Sunday? Well, fortunately, we do have the person that has all the answers. It's our meteorologist, Brittany Merlot. Brittany, good morning.
Good morning. We survived the wind.
I was talking to Ian in our first segment, and yesterday late afternoon and into the early evening, just before the rain started, I was doing a ball game over in Marathon, and I was saying that I can't remember doing a game where the wind was as consistently hard. I mean, we've gone through where there's big gusts of winds, and even if there were gusts in addition to the hard winds, but I mean the consistent wind where the flagpole in center field was swaying. I mean, it was a pretty thick flagpole. It was, and we had multiple instances where players' hats went flying off because the wind was so hot. But I mean, I don't recall very often where there was that windy for that long, and it was for a number of hours before the rain came. It just felt like it was a long run up for that rain to get there, because when it's that windy, it feels like, well, it's going to rain really quickly. But it took a while, and then finally the rains did come. What was going on yesterday, especially late afternoon into the evening before the rains came with all that wind?
Yeah, absolutely. So this was still is a very strong low pressure system that was inching closer and closer to us. So it is just packing those winds. They were just being ingested into the storms that were hanging off to the west of us, into Iowa, Minnesota. If you saw it on radar, if you could add a little layer of wind, it was pretty cool to see, because it was just intensely just being ingested into these storms. So that's kind of what was happening. They were eating the warmer, more unstable temperatures that were out ahead of it. They were taking it in and then riding northeast with it. So that's what was happening yesterday. I mean, there were tornado warnings around Madison last night. So they had a doozy. I went from Illinois to Wausau yesterday afternoon and was driving in those 50-mile-per-hour gusts. It was statewide. People were swaying through the lanes. I was worried about semi-trucks tipping over. I was trying to avoid them, but it was hard to drive, that's for sure. And I kind of wish I saw some of those baseball players' hats getting ripped off. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, it was multiple times where it's, oh man, the hats came flying off.
Did anybody stand there trying to fight the wind?
Yeah. And then the dust would, they call it, because the dust, we have a mini dust storm. I mean, it was just crazy.
Yes, there was a lot of blowing dirt and dust statewide. That was something I haven't really seen either, but thankfully the rain rolled in, because things start to green up. I don't know if you've outside, it already looks a little bit more, summery out there with the added rain. We got anywhere so far from a half an inch to an inch already.
That's what it sounded like, because, last night I'm in bed, and every time I'd kind of wake up, I'd hear that rain coming down, and it sounded like a pretty significant, the word drencher came into my mind every time I would wake up, and you were also, and I was saying this to Ian in the last segment as well, you were correct in how we had the first wave of rain last night. Then there was that little bit of a break, and then the rain came back again. So I'm going to say it again. You nailed it last night for the hours.
Yes. That first line. I was kind of hoping, though, for the southern part of the state that the line would have killed the juice for severe storms for them, but it didn't. But yeah, those two waves, and now we're kind of in the lull of it. The low pressure system is actually sitting right over Eau Claire, and it's moving our way. So things will get a little bit calmer throughout the afternoon. And then as the system pushes away from us and out of the state, we're going to start to see some of those cooler temperatures spill in. Still windy out there. Gusts today and tomorrow will still be about 20 to 25, but that's half of yesterday. So, it's not too bad. But we do have scattered shower chances throughout today and still tomorrow as well. So we're not really going to dry things out until Friday and into the weekend.
I was looking at the forecast Friday again. I'm expected to be outside broadcasting Friday afternoon, and you said it was going to be cooler, but also I see again the Friday, it looks like windy again. And that's going to be, wind chills are going to be a factor on Friday, aren't they?
Yes, it will. Winds will be gusting up to 30 to 40 miles per hour. And this time they're going to be out of the west northwest. So high temperatures are going to struggle to get into the mid 40s. And I should say Thursday night, we're going to drop to right about freezing. So if you're
Oh,
waking up
geez.
early Friday morning, yeah, it's going to be pretty cold out there with wind chills factored in. And the same thing for Friday night, too.
All right. Well, what are the details on our forecast?
Yes. So today, cloudy, overcast, on and off scattered showers, winds at about 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts. Highs today into the mid 50s. Tonight we'll start to dry out a little bit, but by tomorrow morning, I do think more scattered showers are going to be pushing in. Nothing too crazy, but staying mostly cloudy. Highs in the mid 50s tomorrow with winds much calmer, about 15 miles per hour. But the winds do pick up Friday, gusts up to 30 to 40 miles per hour, pulling in the cooler air. Highs of 46 degrees will probably feel more like the upper 30s. And it's going to be pretty a shock to us for sure. But the sun will start to come out by Friday. So there is good news. We stay bright and beautiful for the entire weekend. Highs Saturday into the upper 40s. And by Sunday, we'll start to rebound into the mid 50s.
Brittany Merlot, our meteorologist, thanks again for all the accurate information. Have
Oh, you're
yourself
welcome.
have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll talk tomorrow.
Sounds good. Happy hump day.
Happy hump day.
Brittany Merlot, our meteorologist, joins us every weekday here at 8:20 on Bull Falls Radio. Right now, some light rain still out there, 44 degrees. Winds out of the east at 16 miles per hour, gusting as high as 23 miles per hour. Wind chill factor is 37. The dew point is 42 degrees. The relative humidity is 93%. The barometer at 29.45 inches and a visibility of 6 miles. So it generally looks like it's going to be one of those kind of dreary overcast days. But as Brittany said, the rain is going to green things up, and that's something to definitely look forward to.